For this ritual, you will need a white cat. So maybe scientific is not exactly the word that comes into your mind when you think about tarot. And I get it, but I think it's something pretty solid and that can be explained in a very simple way. Some people might think that it's mystical nonsense. It's like reading future in coffee ground or crystal balls. And to me, the way I approach tarot, it's not a divinatory tool, but it's a way to understand ourselves better. This experiment was done from the Institute for Arcane Anatomy. The objective of this examination is to determine the internal anatomical structure of the subject known as the Fool. We took the Fool card and ran it through the latest radiography engine. At first, everything looked normal. Just the Fool, walking casually, one leg forward, head turned. But something about it reminded us of another figure, the unnamed Arcanum, also called by fools as the Death card. When we overlaid them, the alignment was exact. Hip, knee, shoulder, head, too exact to ignore. So we launched the scan. Layer by layer, the surface disappeared, and then something unexpected appeared underneath. The skeleton was not the Fool's. It was the unnamed Arcanum, which probably means that inside the Fool, hidden in his very structure, resides Arcanum 13, the figure of transformation and death. Once again, science confirms what the tarot has always known. Now that you're reassured that tarot is highly scientific, I'm gonna explain why it works so well and how it's functioning in a very rational way. So first, it works because it creates a moment for yourself, a special moment of focused attention. Someone becomes the center of the exchange, everybody slows down, and we concentrate on a situation or a question, and just the fact of doing this is already a step towards self-care. Because tarot is a mirror. It reflects the inner world of the person asking the question. The person and their story become at this exact moment the most important thing. And honestly, just this in itself is so precious to me. In our everyday chaotic life running from one thing to the other, this kind of still moment is highly rare. The second reason why tarot works is that it gives meaning. And as humans, we are beings of meaning. We need to give a sense to what we are going through. And it does this by using strong archetypes and symbols that resonate with all of us. Carl Jung and other researchers have talked about how universal archetypes show up across cultures and across time. These are just universal symbols that everybody recognizes, even if they never seen the image before. It's like it's inside our DNA. So when a card pops up in a reading, it's already tapping into these archetypal themes that are already floating in our minds. It's almost like tarot and our subconscious are speaking the same language, and you don't need a psychology degree for this, like your brain gets it automatically. If you look at Jung, again, Carl Jung, ideas about the unconscious, the collective unconscious and synchronicities, that's where things get even more interesting. Synchronicities are not magic in the sense of breaking physics. They are just reflections of our unconscious mind at work, sometimes even linked to the shared unconscious we all tap into. And for me, tarot becomes a tool to reveal these synchronicities. Yeah, I say to me because I don't think that Carl Jung ever talked about tarot. I am taking the freedom here to make a link between the two, because many people ask, I took this card, but I could have taken the other card. You know, why does this all make sense? And to me, it's really related to the fact that you're here at this time in your life, you asked this person that had this deck to read your cards, and it has a meaning at the moment you're doing it. Deepak Chopra talks about it too. I didn't want to mention him now, but I really like also his book about synchronicities. I didn't mention him here because I thought, okay, let's take the kind of scientific side. And Deepak Chopra, I think, is less valued as a scientist than Carl Jung. But you know, he's more in the spiritual field. But I think he says pretty much the same. So yeah, again, tarot for me doesn't predict the future.
Tarot doesn't predict the future. I hope you get it by now.
It just shines a spotlight on those connections between your inside world and what's happening outside. In a way, it's like the deck is helping you notice signs and patterns, dynamics that you might otherwise miss. And let's not forget that tarot started as a game, you know, as a simple card game. If you see Artist channel documentary about tarot, which is called The Mystery of Tarot de Marseille, they are presenting a very interesting theory where they say that Marsilio Ficino, who was a philosopher in the 15th century in Italy, created a deck where he was condensing all his philosophy. Nobody knows when appeared the first tarot deck, because you had many tarot decks that appeared in different places at the same time, around Renaissance, around the 15th century. But you had many different versions that were sharing the same symbols, so we don't know really who is the inventor. But Marsilio Ficino was one of them early on, and for him it was like a tool to transmit his philosophy that was very close to the one of Plato. So the tarot that he designed at this time was more a synthesis of his philosophical thoughts, discreetly designed as a pedagogical instrument. In another tarot deck, which is known as one of the first tarot decks that ever existed, the Visconti tarot deck, designed by Manciano. Manciano said to the Duke of this family, of Visconti family, he said, okay, sorry, I'm translating in real time here. My real-time translation was very catastrophic, so here is the text. Through this game, you can focus your attention on important things if you play it. Sometimes it is pleasant to be entertained in this way, and you will feel delighted inside. Through the enthusiasm of your own sagacity, you will be able to celebrate heroes, models of virtue. So by observing them, be ready to be stimulated, excited by virtue. And I really love this idea that by playing a game, we are inspired. We have our soul that is elevating. There, to me, I related to the fact that for me, and not only for me, like for Montessori and for many of the European northern countries, in schools, they are using game, they are using playful things as a way to learn. And of course, in our world, the word entertainment has not a lot of value. It's like the thing you do on the side once you've done all the serious things of your life. But in reality, it's one of the most powerful way that children integrate knowledge and concepts. And for me, it's not superficial at all. There is a real nobility in playing. Are we enough scientific? I don't know, but I go on. There is also a poetic dimension in tarot that for me is very important. It's like when you read the cards all together, you're making a story. It's like telling a tale about the life of the person, and then we can look at our lives like as if there were chapters in a book. You know, some are beautiful, some are rushed, some are messed up totally, but we understand that we have a chance to rewrite some of the chapters better in a way. And this brings me to the last point that really jumps at me when I see people get involved into tarot, that we are connecting to our inner child again. You know, these moments where we were inventing worlds and when we were still believing in magic. We all did little rituals as kids, whether it's blowing candles for our birthdays or stepping into this style or this style and thinking, oh, I'm gonna be successful at this or this. Well, at least I did that. I think a lot of people did that. And when we are reading cards, I feel that we are playing with this thing. You know, we are reconnecting to something bigger than us, more abstract, to something that even our mind cannot figure out, cannot understand. And of course, now we are adults, so we do it very seriously and with precise rituals and great sentences. But to me, that's just the thirst for magic being alive again. And I think that's why Harry Potter worked so much, because we all dream of making tricks and inventing spells. Jodorowsky says that tarot is a live being, and if you really pay attention, it's very talkative. And honestly, in a world where everything has to be productive and optimized, just taking this time of pausing and connecting to your story and to other people is already a little miracle in itself. Okay, if you're here until now, first, I'm very impressed. And also, please tell me why tarot works for you, how it functions for you, and why tarot doesn't work. Maybe it's the case. But we want facts, because here, I imagine that you guessed it by now, it's a very scientific and rational channel.